Hi, I'm LiangChao, Vice Mayor of the City of Cupertino. Welcome to the first meeting of the Meet the Commissioners series. We are happy to have Eno and Daisy from Audit Committee and Liana and Ching from Library Commission with us.
I'm happy to kick it off, Liang, if we want to get started.
Okay.
Okay. I can introduce myself. I think Daisy may also be on the line.
I'm here.
So great. There's two of us here from the Audit Committee. My name's Schmidt. I'm the chair. Let's see, I think I'm about to term out in January. So I've been on the committee for 9 years. Been a long time resident in Cupertino and excited to share some of the activities that the Audit Committee performs. I think you've got some slides, Liang, so why don't we first have Daisy introduce herself and then maybe we can go through those slides if you like.
Okay, my name is Daisy. Yeah, I'm with the Audit Committee. So I'm resident of Cupertino also, yeah. Nice to meet you all.
So how long you have been on the committee, maybe?
I think the committee is almost 2 years already.
And were you on any other committee before?
No, this is the first time. Yeah, first time.
And you had some a lot of history, right? You were on Library Foundation, also other commissions, right?
Yeah, that's true.
No, not me. Yeah. I do involve some like volunteer, but it's most likely the Boy Scouts and the PTSA and something else. Yeah.
Wow. And what other you served on Library Commission?
No, not me.
That's right.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm going
that's
back
right,
to
Liang.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, you've got a good memory. I was on the Library Commission as well for 4 years while the beautiful library building was being built. So great experience over on that commission. And also I was involved with the Library Foundation, which is not a commission, it's but a support organization of the library for maybe 15 years. So very excited and proud to have that relationship with the library.
Great. So, and then that's Daisy. So what did you find out? How did you find out about Audit Committee? And what brought you to apply?
I think some friends told me about some vacancy. I forgot actually. Then I go through the website. Then I find the application. I filed the application. Yeah, it's very simple.
Wow. And then let's go to Liana. Could you introduce yourself? What you have done before Library Commission and what brought you to Library Commission?
My name is Liana Crabtree. I serve as a library commissioner. I've served since 2017 and my term is up. My 4-year term is up in January. And one of Eno's comments just now reminded me of something that I really treasure about, I think, the commission or the commission culture. When I joined the Library Commission, I replaced Jerry Liu, who had been a longtime library commissioner, served on the Library Foundation, but he was being selected for the Planning Commission at that time, so it freed open a spot. But what happened after I joined the Library Commission was really wonderful in that there was such, I want to describe it as a pent-up demand to see the completion of the programming space at the library. Eno served when the new library building was built in the early 2000s, and there had been such interest in finally having a dedicated programming space. And it was that culture of the Library Foundation, the Friends, and commissioners past helping commissioners of today to, see that process finally come to fruition. Finally, right now, construction begins next year. And I mean, I was looking through my emails in preparation for this meeting, and I had emails from Eno. I had many emails from Jerry Liu and past commissioners and foundation members, all just incredibly supportive and helpful to bring us up to speed about what the conditions were, why decisions were made, understandings at the time, and a lot of data shared. And so I know your question, Liang, and I'm sorry, I've really branched in a weird way here, but you asked what I was involved in before. And really, I was a resident. I was starting to pay attention to things that were happening that I didn't understand in my local government. I got connected with you very early on. I think we've been connected now for 5 years, which has been just tremendous. I've learned so much from you. And thank you so much for all that you do for the community. But what I would like to say is that, if you start out as someone who's just very interested in what's going on in your community, willingness to learn, willingness to work with other people and to communicate what you learn with others. And I think that's, for Library Commission, a really great foundation. And I hope that people will be encouraged to engage and know that you have a tremendous depth of resources that you can contact. Like on Library Commission, library people are really wonderful people, and people who support and love libraries are just really terrific people to work with. So I hope that people will be encouraged to apply for Library Commission or participate in the Friends of the Library, participate in library programming, come to Library Commission meetings, participate and support the Library Foundation. All of those things are really add to, and the Poet Laureate program too, of course. They all really add to our community. Thank you.
Great. So Chin, yeah, could you also, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, I am 21 years residency for Cupertino.
You need to be closer to the mic, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
So then I've been on the library commissioner for 2 years now, and I think the whole reason I'm started, apply for commissioner position. I believe 2 years ago, my second daughter went to college, so all of a sudden I have a lot of time in my hands, and I want to do something for the community, and commission, certainly is a great opportunity for me to get involved. Library is education, connect to education. It's dear to my heart, and I know Cupertino cares about, education. We all cares about it. And education, not only actually, for kids, education for adults, education for seniors. So there is a lot of opportunities. And ever since I've been the commissioner for 2 years now, yeah, it flies. Yeah. I just find out, this is a place that I can have impact to the community. Like, one small example I can give, like when I serve as a commissioner while library is still open. Of course, I'm on the term for 2 years, and big half year this year, we all shelter in place. But when the bar indeed open, I walk my dog and, go to library quite often and, talk to patrons, find neighbors, kids, friends, and like my kids, friends as parents, some of them actually pretty old, retired. So I talk to them and I just ask them, hey, what do you can, think a library, good or some room for improvement? Good part, always it's a wonderful place. We are so lucky to have it. Room for improvement, like one particular small area is need a more study space, quiet study space. So I brought that to the commissioner and working with the library to identify new, study space, quiet zones. Of course, I know most of you probably didn't notice it yet because right after we finished that quote-unquote project, we are all home now. So I want to give us an example. I did a couple of other things. Of course, right now I'm in the library expansion project stakeholder. So in that particular meetings, we meet with the designer and participate in the interview of the initial designer, not the second one. But so you can see you add value to the city, to your neighbors, and some of the input you might sound small, but then when you speak up, you feel like you did add value. I give you one example. Like recently, I speak up during one of the stakeholder meeting is for the first floor, the expansion project. Designers, they propose some tires, some materials. So I just kindly remind them, okay, for first floor, we actually indeed still will be used as after hour program, if indeed some program will be held on the first floor. And so we actually have a separate entries, separate lobby, so then that space can be used. So then the tile, floor used for that space, yes, it will need to be child kids approval, but cannot be like too childish. So that may not be proper. So I think that comments got very well accepted, and designer did acknowledge that. They said, okay, when they choose the actual material, they definitely will take into consideration, because just the two examples they provided, it's more lean towards kids. And now they say, oh yeah, those are not final, just the example. So I just, there's some examples I just gave that how actually based on my observations, and now I'm sitting in the commission, I can make an impact and to the community. So I will encourage you to apply, for all the commission.
Great.
Position.
So before we go to the slides, anyone, so Eno and Daisy, do you have anything to add in the background?
Me? Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard everybody have very great experience. Yeah, for me, yeah, it's a little bit simple, but it's, yeah, I didn't introduce my background. My background is like, I'm working in the accounting and the tax and the finance for many, many years. So I think 2 years ago is when some friends is introduced the committee for me. I just think about, okay, what I can do. I just think, but I go research something, or maybe audit is the desired position for me. Then I applied, yeah, fortunately, and I got a committed. So then I think is for the auditing committee is. Yeah, we did a lot. It's like we review a lot of things. I think may maybe introduce more some later, but I think I do and work with a great person. It's very great experience. Yeah, for me. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think Liang, from my perspective, from the audit committee, there's two elements. One, contributing back to the community. I think the audit committee serves an important role, even though it may not be on everyone's first list necessarily to join up. But we all want to make sure the city functions in a prudent and financially sound manner. So I think it's an important function. But secondly, I think we on the committee learn a lot. So it's not only we're contributing back, we actually learn quite a bit about how the city finances work. Even though I've been involved with the city for quite a while in volunteer capacities, I have to say I've learned quite a bit. So people that are interested in some of the inner workings might find the audit committee particularly exciting and a challenge at the same time, because you really do have to know quite a bit in order to make a contribution. But I think city staff, a couple of the others already alluded that, for example, there's a lot of resources to help people that maybe aren't familiar with the committee, and I've certainly been able to take advantage of that. We can ask a question of city staff, and they're usually very happy, or city council members who do sit on the audit committee. I think that's one of the things I observed that's a bit different from the audit committee versus maybe the library commission that I served on, is that there are two city council members typically on the audit committee, and that adds another very interesting experience dynamic But on the other hand, they're very efficient, usually know about the way meetings get held. And I think we can all learn a lot from you city council people who have to go through this all the time. So I think that's another special benefit that people who serve on the audit committee actually benefit from, because I can remember a number of times where we've had to benefit from how city council's insight into a particular background on an issue has come into play. So I'd add that as being an interesting element from my personal experience on the audit committee.
Yeah, great. So, so I think we have 30 minutes, 35 minutes left. Yeah, maybe it's time to go to the slides. Maybe I should talk a little bit about the reason why I do this. I think ever since I got elected, I've been trying to increase the engagement and visibility of all the commissions. That I would like you guys to not just go to the meetings, but also get more engaged with the communities that we serve. And for example, if you look at the commission website now, each commission now has an email that anyone can email auditcommittee@cupertino.org and librarycommission@cupertino.org. Those were added by my request, and I requested for your work program to be posted on the website, because otherwise you see a page that's very general. People don't know. It's hard to go through your agenda to find out where is your work program. So that's what I'm requesting. But I just find out the library commission had last year's work program posted, not this year, where I was trying to look at that. Just email Deb. So yeah, sometimes I'm too detailed, but then I would like that information to be there that people can have access to. And I requested to allow you guys to post your photos, and so that if you like, you will. This is a time you people can know who you are, but this is optional, of course. Yeah. So yeah. So this meeting is a way that I'm trying to continue what I've been doing. And yeah, it was hastily put together. And so I pulled whoever that's first from on my mind from each commission or committee. I didn't go through the list. I was trying to just fill up these 3 meetings in December 1st so that I can do it before the deadline. Hopefully next year we can start in November to do this. And then, yeah, in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, if I publicize this, I want everyone to have the chances to apply, so that they know how exciting it is to serve on our city's commissions, and fulfilling it is. But then, yeah, in the back of my mind, I also have this selfish wish. If I don't publicize, not many people would know. The only people I know will apply, right? Isn't that better? No. Right? Yeah, some people are like, oh, you're only doing this for better Cupertino friends. Well, if I really want that, I wouldn't want to publicize this, right? So yeah, I want it to be a chance for all of Cupertino residents, whatever is your standing, to see that this is something we can really contribute together. And that's why I'm publicizing. But then when I sent the email to Deb on Monday, I didn't know if she'll send it out. She didn't give me a confirmation. Then I thought, okay, what do I do? So I pulled up my old campaign list to send it out, because that's the only thing available. And I didn't even, this wasn't coordinated with Better Cupertino, so I didn't ask Better Cupertino to send it out, because it's just all me. I did this, I even designed a flyer, because I am not supposed to use any city staff time for any of this. So, but looks like the flyer came out really good. I'm proud of it. Yeah, so let's go to the slides.
Liang, I just wanted to make one comment regarding community engagement. Sorry, because you had talked about this. And we do have this unique opportunity right now. You know, when we have our meetings for the Library Commission, we hold them when we're, you know, non-pandemic times in the think tank, which is on the second floor of the library. And it's a lovely conference room that's been opened up since I joined the commission. And it seats 15 people. But, you know, with this opportunity that we have while we're all at home and it's much easier to participate in meetings, it's really a great opportunity for people to attend commission meetings and to learn about commissions. And, you know, it's important to serve on a commission. It's also important to attend commission meetings because you learn so much about how your city works and how you can contribute with your comments and just in being informed and sharing what you learn with other people. So we have this very special time. It is a great time to promote community engagement, I feel. And I really appreciate the efforts that you've taken to try and get the word out about what's going on in the city. So thank you.
That's great. So also, I just wrote an email to Deb actually yesterday because someone told me that there will be a bill to update the Brown Act so that these kind of virtual meetings will be permitted or easier under Brown Act. Because today, the city does have muni code to allow this remote meeting, but only for council members who might, one or two who might not attend the physical meeting. And then they have to still be in a public place that's pre-announced. So they have to be in a coffee shop, for example, or if they are in a meeting in another city. So these were cumbersome before. So the state is planning to update the Brown Act. And then I wrote to Deb also that after the pandemic, we should still allow a virtual participation of all commission meetings, not just council meeting. Even if we have physical location, we should allow any residents to participate, and even staff members that they might have to sit through hours of meeting, but only one item is related to them. So then if they can participate virtually, and we have big screens in our chamber, then that would work. I think our meeting room in the city hall do have big screens too for people to participate virtually, and the library think tank too. So I think we have the technology all in place. We just need to use them. So I have proposed that. Hopefully we will make that change next year. So actually I made this meeting more interactive. Any attendee can turn on their camera and ask questions at any time. So if you want, you can, anyone has anything to ask? If not, then I'm going to share the screen.
Will there be time for Q&A at the end? I don't want to ask questions before you do your presentation in case.
Okay, yeah. So here, do you see the general information? Oops. Okay. So each commission is a 4-year term. It ends on January 30th. That's why we do our commission application in early January deadline, and then we interview around 20 something of by city council, and then we decide who to appoint when there are vacancies. Usually it's a staggered 4-year term. An appointment is by city council, and your role as commissioner or committee is to advise the council, and you are not supposed to direct staff who are your liaison on the commission. They are there to serve as assistants and only within the scope that's directed by the council. And if there are any extra ideas you would like to explore, usually then you should not use staff time for that. but I would welcome commissioners to explore ideas, research what other cities have done and how we can do things better on your own time, on your own agenda. And once you have something that looks good, then you can propose to the council. And if it needs some staff support, you can propose to the council, and then we can direct we can add that to the work program. So then the staff would be allowed to spend time on specific projects, okay? So this is to ensure that the city manager has a good control of how much time her staff spend on each project. And the work program is usually proposed in January, and we try to refine it until it's finally approved in June. So last year, I think we also changed we are still changing this. I think every year we are trying to figure out the best way to work together with commissioners to form the work program. And before, I think before in 2018, council work program were totally independent from commissions. And commissions are all doing different things. And then there were the idea that commission programs have to be part of a council program. But city council couldn't think of everything, right? So then we went to the idea of, okay, maybe each commission can propose their work program, and then we integrate them with council work program. Then that was the model we used last year. And this year, likely it will be similar. So therefore, for commissioners, you guys will be starting to brainstorm work programs earlier than January, because council start in January. So some commissions have been already starting to think about their work program for next year. So by year, I mean fiscal year, which starts in July 1st. So budgets are approved in June, and then new year starting July. So work program will be from July to June, okay? And then here is a website on how to apply to commission, and you can see the list of vacancies and online application there. And there is also commission handbook, which is a very long handbook that we find out it was put into place many years ago that was never approved by the council. So we are based on, so Darcy and me formed a subcommittee to try to flush out how the new commissioner commission relation should be like. So we had the subcommittee report that was approved by the council, and now staff is trying to revise the current handbook. Therefore, I think they are collecting inputs from all the commissioners and the committee members right now, and it's much shorter. And we hope this further clarify a lot of things that we didn't understand. So thanks for your effort to help improve the handbook. Now this is the library commission. So that's the email and the website and meetings. They meet at 7 p.m. on the 1st of Wednesday. I find out that it's different from municipal code. Each of the commission, you can look up the municipal code. It will specify what's their roles and responsibilities, and their meeting frequency, a minimum meeting frequency, and the members, like who should be on the members. Some commission members have specific requirement. And for library commission, so most of them have almost all the commissions have 5 members. And library commission says 3 must be residents of city of Cupertino. So 2 can be non-resident. That makes sense, I guess, because library serves more than Cupertino. And then the code requires the meeting every other month. But library commission now meets every month, right? So you are allowed to meet more frequent than the minimum code requires. Yeah. And thus here is the responsibility from municipal code. So not just library services, which is right now the description on our website. So I wrote to Deb yesterday when I was preparing the slide. I find out our website description didn't include a lot of these responsibilities listed here. This also include the library the physical facilities, like number 8, it's they could advise regarding physical facilities in the library, and they advise on programs and services, and they also serve as liaison to private community groups supportive of library program. I didn't know that before, so I thought, yeah, this is a great thing that for library commission to do. They could be the liaison with schools, with other community groups that can, and or like senior community who utilize the library. And then they also can consult with library city, with architect on the building and layout, which is what some of the library commissioners are doing. And then also library commission could hold public hearings, formulate policies, and make rules regarding the library. And usually there will be one at the end is any other task that the city council expressly requested the library commission to do. That's in addition to all of the above. So I thought this code is nice, but then also the city staff is looking through, trying to clean up our code. So this is the chance now. If you think there is anything we should add or remove from any of the commission municipal code, this is a time to suggest that, so we can compile them together, maybe clean up our code. Because when I was looking at this, I find out there are also inconsistencies between commissions. Some commissions, municipal code has a section on the staff relationship, the role of staff liaison, some doesn't. So I guess we added them at different time, so they are not consistent. Yeah, so look through them. Anything to add from the commissioners about your roles and responsibilities?
I will reserve my comments until the end. I would like to make sure you have a chance to address the other points.
And then here is the audit committee. Also, we have the email, the website, and the meeting is quarterly on the 4th Tuesday of selected month at 4 p.m. So audit committee, I guess, doesn't meet as regular. The code requires a meeting a quarter, I think a meeting every quarter, but maybe Ino can tell us exactly when usually is the meeting. And the code also specify it should have 2 city council members serving a 1-year term, and then but the other 2 or 3 members will serve a 4-year term. So audit committee member could be 4 members or 5 members. It doesn't require 5 members. It's different from other commission or committees. And also the 2 or 3 at-large members don't have to be Cupertino resident, but it does say that they would prefer to have someone who have substantial accounting, audit, investment experience, preferably in connection with government agency. So yeah, if you think we could further refine this description, we can suggest that maybe have more clear.
Yeah, I in terms of a couple questions there, in terms of the regular meetings, for the 9 years I've been involved, that's true. It's quarterly, but it's an unusual year when there wouldn't be a number of extra special meetings, to be honest. It depends on, you know, how efficiently we can get through the next slide page that you're going to describe. But I would say in a typical year, and this COVID year hasn't been typical by any means, there's two elements. There's the element of calling special meetings, and I'd say there's probably 2 to 3 special meetings on average per year, normal year. And then in addition to that, there's a give and take between the subcommittees, and that's no different than any other commission, but a lot of work has to be done through the subcommittee, because a 2-hour meeting, even if you had 6 of them or 7 of them, it's very difficult to get, you know, a lot of work done in that mechanism. So I think it's very common for all of our commissions, but at least in the audit committee, just recently we had a budget format subcommittee, for example, that Darcy and I participated in, and we had a series of comments, considerations, ultimately issued a report to the audit committee, which you know, all in collaboration with city staff. So the meetings, it's the way you've shown the slide is exactly right, but I think it's got the caveat of there's a lot of special meetings that come into play. I do have some other comments about qualifications, and I've sent that email to you guys over the years, and I always send it again, but there's a lot of collaboration that goes on, I think, in any commission meeting, and I'd like to underline, in the audit committee, oftentimes we'll have 15 to 16 participants in a particular meeting, and many of those participants are outside advisors that the city has engaged to do various things. For example, cash management, or external auditing, or internal auditing, or fiduciary responsibilities. And to the extent that, you know, some of us over the years have been a little bit more abrupt than maybe it might be appropriate, because these are outside parties. I think a big element is to be courteous and able to work in a large scale environment with a variety of people. And you know, you would think that goes without having to be spelled out, but I wanted to underline that as a key element. Probably the same for all commissions, but particularly when we've got 15 people in a room, if we're not courteous in following normal behavior in a meeting, we can't get our work done. A couple of other things are on the professional accounting element that you mentioned here. Unfortunately, it is a technical expertise. So, for example, even though I'm a CPA and was a partner at one of the big 4 accounting firms, it's very difficult for me to follow through a city fund accounting type of special types of ways cities have to do their accounting. And I'm sure Daisy will agree with me. There's a series of technical elements that cities have to do that not everybody knows. And if you don't come with some accounting background that maybe allows you to understand that, it's just going to take a lot longer for you to add something. So I'd like to, you know, underline that element in the requirements. I don't want to take up too much time, Liang. I've sent separately the thought on what might make for a good, successful audit commission member, but happy to expand if you have more time later after the end of the meeting.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, totally agree.
So then the next page is the powers and the responsibilities from municipal code. This is identical to the ones that's listed on the website. So
I'll tell you why. I had that changed. It's taken me a few years, but just recently Zach updated it for the last 2 items. So I'm very happy that you were able to find that it matches, because that's one of my goals as well. So
no wonder.
We're in sync. We're in sync, but it's a great way to comment on a couple of activities that have recently come up on the audit committee. Item F and item G, which are now in the municipal code, are really a couple of extra items that have come about as a result of the last 3 to 4 years of accounting and financial activity within the city. So the city's gotten to the stage where an internal audit function was decided to be appropriate, and that function logically got assigned over to the audit committee to supervise. So that's one of the reasons that's now in that code. And in 2021, that'll be an exciting time for any new audit committee members joining for the vacancy. Is there the Moss Adams, who's been engaged at the approval of city council and the city manager, of course, and the audit committee also approved it. They're going to be issuing a series of reports each quarter. They'll be posted on the website, and it's a great way for the city to get some operational improvement suggestions, as well as a double check on certain things that the independent auditors who issue financial statements don't have time, or we don't want to send them down those kinds of areas. So it's an exciting time to be on the committee to start doing these two areas. But the first 5 have been around for 20 years, and there's really quite a lot of excitement. Just to pick one, the treasurer's report, it's very interesting. For example, in COVID times, you've got to balance the budget in some way. And so are you going to be getting the tax revenues that you expect or not? And what's your spending going to be? And the treasurer has to deal with all those issues. And it's very interesting to follow that process. And sometimes we're able to add some additional areas for city staff to take as ideas. And that's a very satisfying element. But each one of these areas is a significant element within the city. So we could wax eloquent and spend another 5 hours just going into each of them. So maybe it's better to have Q&A later.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these lists are very specific. Yeah. I think audit committee has the I guess the best of the world. You have 2 city council members sitting there, and you have 1 dedicated staff member who will be doing the audit. I think that might be also the reason, I think, compared with a lot of cities around us, through all pandemic time, Cupertino is comfortable with due to the amount of reserve we have accumulated throughout the years. And we are actually we are underfunded even in our city in terms of property tax we receive compared with other cities. But in the last recession in 2008, 2009, other cities were nearing bankruptcy. Cupertino, I think I remember reading we were really comfortable at that time going through that. And then this time also, I think the audit committee served a big purpose in really keeping us, we are living comfortably within the means we have. And actually I was thinking, oh, we should really have another meeting where we can talk all about audit committee and how to read city budget. And the city now has a really nice online portal that people can really learn how to do those. Maybe, you can do another one.
Or Daisy as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a quick question.
Yeah, now anyone, I think we are open to question now, right? Okay. Yeah.
Well, no, just kind of out of curiosity, mainly whether or not the audit committee was involved in the recent or in the last few years when it was discovered that there was that embezzlement going on with the city. Was that part of the audit committee?
Well, sure, I'm happy to address that. Well, first of all, we were definitely involved after it was uncovered. It was approximately $1 million, $1 million of alleged embezzlement. The case is still in the courts, and it was uncovered by city staff and through part of a change in the ERP reporting system. So I would have to, in answer that question, we spent no end of extra special meetings and hours of wondering or investigating with city staff and with the outside auditors how such a circumstance could occur. So first of all, the independent auditors, and just so everyone on the call here is aware, there's no net financial loss to the city that will result from that alleged embezzlement. It's either will be completely recovered through insurance or through the likely settlement in the court. Secondly, it was a small percentage, which is why the independent auditors were, you can see it in the financial statements, but it was not a major item. $1 million is a significant for each of us. And obviously on the call, we don't want that to be happening to the city, but it was a relative to the city's larger money. It's considered immaterial, a technical term that everybody goes through. But I have to say, I spend 2 minutes on this answering it. As an audit committee, we came up with a three-legged response to what was the alleged embezzlement, which we think occurred over a 10-year period by a senior accountant on staff. So first of all, the city was running a lean accounting department. So one of the changes that we helped recommend and city council ultimately approved along with city staff was to add more accounting resources, so a separation of duties was more possible than under the preceding arrangement. The second major step was changing some of the automated reporting systems to require more into the modern world. I'm afraid to say it, but unfortunately, again, the city of Cupertino was watching its pennies and didn't have an up-to-date set of ERP systems. So, you know, penny wise, pound foolish. So that's been corrected. And then the third stool was instituting an internal audit function, so that even though we've got good internal controls, we think within the city, the internal auditors will look to boost the internal control. So long-winded answer, and I could talk even longer on what happened in that whole process, but the audit committee ended up, and I'm proud of what we ended up changing. Those three areas, I think, even though the horse already had left the barn, in some sense, we closed the barn door, so we don't expect that kind of thing to happen in the future.
Awesome. No, I just wanted to understand how that came together, and so thank you. That answered my question. I figured you had some, as a resident-led commission, some say in barn door, like you said. Thank you.
Wow,
you know,
this is a lot of first. This is a lot of good information. At first, I wasn't planning on posting this, but then now I think I want to post this because I learned a lot from all of you. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
It's fine with me.
So
I have a question.
If that's okay. I
think
Govin.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, so you know, a couple of things. One is having a CPA a requirement, or can the person have enough finance background along with audit background to be able to apply? That's one question. The second is, does the person have to be Cupertino resident? Second, the third is that, you know, what kind of background is what you people feel comfortable in terms of person to be on the audit committee? I mean, how many years of experience should the person have? How many, what's the size of dollars that they should have handled? That kind of question. So this is my three questions, but I want to add one thing. I missed your first point about the three-legged approach. So if you could also go back to that at the end.
Sure. Well, it's not a technical requirement that you be a CPA. Tying the third question in there, I think it's helpful if you've got one. So there is a list. I think Liang had a slide there for suggested experience in the investment area at least, but in the have the better. My personal experience is I was a partner CPA. I am a CPA, retired with one of the big four accounting firms. And even with that kind of a background, it's a challenge to be able to add something into the mix. I think Daisy is a practicing accountant, so she's got quite a bit of experience too. But no, CPA is not required, and you also don't have to be a resident of Cupertino. I think part of that was the idea was to get as good of expertise as is available. But you know, in terms of background, is that maybe Liang, you could flash that slide again that had the background while I try to answer the three legs that we had already covered a bit. The three legs, Govid, were in response to an alleged embezzlement that occurred over a 10-year period. The audit committee, in collaboration with city staff and city council approvals, recommended, and ultimately these three things were implemented. So the first one was adding accounting resources, so separation of duties would be more possible than under the previous one without those resources. The second one was the accounting systems were brought up into a more modern ERP system. And the third one was implementation of an internal audit function. Does that answer what you were looking for, Govid? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it answers the reason I asked is that for example, the city budget currently runs about, I guess, 98 to 100 million dollars every year, annual budget. So somebody with a finance background having handled, say, a $200 million or $300 million annual revenue in a private company, will that person be considered good enough? I mean, that was one of the reasons I was asking. So
yeah,
because not everybody has a investment.
It's a great question, Govid. I think it's really an evaluation of, how many people are applying. So the more people that apply, I think the better chance of getting the best people onto the committee, which we all want. So I'd say if you've got that kind of background, that's great. Definitely puts you in the right potential category. What that background would miss is the city has got some special accounting rules that it has to apply, and we call that fund accounting. So you could probably bring yourself up to speed, relatively quickly, but it'd be even better if you knew something about fund accounting, for example. So it's all a range. I don't think you should exclude yourself. You should go ahead and, if you're interested, apply anyways. And maybe you'll be the most qualified, and then you just have to study a little bit more fund accounting. Does that help?
Sure. I mean, it's not for me, but anyway, I think I got the information. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? I think someone was trying to speak, right? So Liana has your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Liang. So I'm looking, I believe the person who had their hand up had to leave the meeting, and I've exchanged contact information with them. So I hope we'll be able to follow up with their questions after. The one thing I wanted to comment on, you had mentioned that when you looked at the city web page for the Library Commission, that the work plan was the previous year. And I just wanted to point out that the Library Commission has already met for the month of December. And during that meeting, our Park and Recreation Director, Joanne Magrini, did present our update for our current work program. Yeah. And that is posted as a presentation. And I believe you have received that as well in advance of this meeting. I appreciate that this is not the right opportunity to discuss that, but just to let you know that we did receive the presentation. Many thanks to Whitney Zeller for preparing the presentation and for Joanne for presenting it. And Joanne, I think, is on the meeting if there were questions. Joanne was here earlier, but it looks that she's needed to drop. So just that if you look at the city calendar, you can see the presentation and you get a sense of what kinds of things have occupied the time of all of the commissions by reading the information on the calendar. Thank you.
One more thing, if Eno and Daisy can share their contact information, so that if somebody's interested, they can talk to you, during the break, December break.
Sure,
Thank you.
Govind, I think you know, if you go to the website, you've got emails for all of the audit committee as well as any of the other commissions. Now each of the commission's website email has the email address.
Oh, so I should share the slide deck. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's right on that. You've
yeah,
got
that,
the link, right? Right.
or you just Google Cupertino Audit Committee, you'll get this
Right.
page. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
And then you'll have email of each individual members too, or
Right.
you can email the entire committee.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess any other questions? So any of you would have some additional comments? If not,
No, I just wanted to add, I see that on the city website, you did add it to the council member LiangChao's commissioner series. I think that's a great idea, and posting the video of each one of them is possibly a good resource for anyone considering joining the commissions, so they don't, you know, if you're not holding them regularly, that they can see them and find out a little bit more about them. That's all. Good idea.
So right now this is using my own Zoom account because I requested a city Zoom account 2 weeks ago, but this Monday when I asked, they said they will not be ready in time. So I use my own Zoom to record right now. So I don't know if they can still post this or I need to post myself. So I'll have to figure that out. And now I have a city Zoom account. So the January one, I get to use the city Zoom account. But then I don't know if the city will post this program because this is not done by their video division. And yeah, I did this all myself because it took John a long time to just get that round table he really wants to do to get done through the city. So it was a lot of time. And
Maybe
then
it's easier
both
to
of
just
these
have
are
them posted.
office hours, so we don't have staff support for this kind of thing. I wish I were a San Jose City Council member because they have budget to hire staff. Yeah, we don't even have a secretary that who can help council members with this type of thing. So it's just all I use the path of least resistance, whichever way I can get it done faster. Yeah.
Liang, is there an
this turned out
opportunity?
well.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity to post to a YouTube channel or something like that?
Yeah. Which channel do I post it to?
Yeah, I don't know.
I should start one myself, right? Yeah, good idea. I should start my own YouTube channel. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Here you can find our contact information. The second meeting, we will have 2 commissioners from Planning Commission and 2 from Housing Commissions. In the third meeting, we will hear from Fine Arts Commission and the Bike Path Commission. Join us. See you then.